And I love that, isn't it? They just want to just kind of sit back and carve up a glass of wine or something. Maneli Jamal is our guest in studio, and this is from his latest CD called The Lumage Movement, which is, as you were saying, your last name backwards.
Yeah, it's very
All right.
clever, I know.
Well, what's the reason? I'm sure it is. Why? Or just that's you just did it.
No,
You did it.
yeah, there's actually a kind of a long story behind that. It's more of a political story, even. So Lumage backwards was an homage to my parents when they were living in Iran, and more specifically when my dad was imprisoned in Iran for being politically active against the Islamic regime. He was fighting for humanity and justice and peace. So during that time, my dad had to take different aliases to try to escape from the government that was after him.
Yeah.
So Lumage is basically an homage to him, changing his name to try to escape from the extremists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And you were born in Belarus?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
This is quite interesting. Born in Belarus, of Iranian descent, raised in Cologne, Germany.
Yeah.
And then you immigrated to Minnesota, Austin, Texas, and then finally here. Wow.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
That's more places than
That's unbelievable.
than a lot of people ever go in their entire lives.
Yeah, and that's all by the time I was 18 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And now what, you comfortable here?
Oh yeah,
It's a great place for you.
I'm a Canadian now. I am very proud to be Canadian.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful music, and I can see why you were first place of the 2013 Beaches International Jazz Festival Hennessy Contest.
Thank you.
First place at 2012 Best Audio Recording AES Convention. First place 2012 Winter Folk Auditions. First place 2011 Winter Folk Auditions. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. Wow. Pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Where does the musical background come from? Or do you have a musical background?
Yeah, absolutely. Both of my parents are very musical and artistic. So growing up, they've always taught us, me, when I say us, is me and my three older brothers, the way of kind of finding your own voice with the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So they would tell us kind of how to do something, but then they would, leave us alone and for us to think on our own with the techniques and things. And I think that really helped with all of us, all four boys. With finding our own voice and kind of exploring more of what can be done with the guitar in a non-conventional way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where you draw from? What are the styles? What are the musical influences that come through in your playing? Because it's really, it's very complicated. It's complex, but yet it's incredibly melodic.
Yeah, I mean, just as much as I've moved around in my life, I changed genres with music the same way. I would go from blues to flamenco. All within a year, and that really messes your musical sense up a little bit, But having been exposed to so much at a young age and not being afraid to branch out musically has really helped me kind of develop that style, And obviously there's people like Paco de Lucia, Don Ross, Michael Hedges, Zeppelin, Floyd. I'm thinking like the most bizarre mix of music. Putting into a blender and seeing what would come out, and that's where I basically write my music from.
You should see.
It's a great idea, though, when you think about it. Take a little bit. That's a nice musical cherry picking is what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
Take
exactly.
a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Absolutely.
Played in punk and metal bands.
Yeah, that's how I started. Because everyone's a rebel when they're 16. And that was in Austin for me. And for me, it felt right to just crank up the distortion to 11 and just play as loud as I can and piss off my parents.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Well, that was your job at that age.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, are you playing somewhere in? We just missed you at the Beaches, obviously, by a week. But will you be somewhere around in the Toronto vicinity shortly, or within the next little while?
Yeah, I've got a few shows coming up this month at the Dakota Tavern, at Free Times Cafe. A lot of local gigs that are
Where's
coming
the
up.
Dakota Tavern? I've never heard of that.
Somewhere downtown. I don't really remember.
Mike would know. This is a good one to pose to Mike.
Yeah, he's on the phone right now.
Oh, okay.
But
So-
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I thought, Ted, what you have to see when he performs live, how he uses the instrument as a rhythm instrument. I mean, he plays the wood.
Yeah.
With his hands tapping and creating it's almost like, as you said, Paco de Lucia, the wooden instrument that they play
The cajon, yeah?
The cajon, it's like
Yeah.
you turn the instrument into that, and then all the strings.
Yeah, yeah. There's also, you know, because of my Persian background, there's a rhythm instrument called the tombak and the daft, and that is really where I take some of the percussive elements from more, but the cajon is very similar to that as well. So it's very interesting because, you know, I'll play for a Persian crowd sometimes, and then they're like, "Oh, this sounds like that instrument," or "That sounds like that instrument." So, you know, every culture that I play for, they can usually pick out like certain areas of the technique and kind of relate it to their own culture. So it's interesting.
Have you been back to Iran?
No, I've actually never been there. So
Never been.
I'd love to go and just learn kind of, you know, the musical history there, because it's so rich and it's gone back for so long. And I, you know, I even try to write with Persian melodies in mind because of my parents.
Because Iran was Persia before it became Iran.
Yeah.
So people saying, in case you were getting, I know this only because my niece married a young man from Iran.
Oh, lucky there.
He's a real, no, she is. He's a very, very nice man.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to have a baby soon.
Oh, good. That'll be nice. Well, congrats.
On purpose.
On purpose. Unlike my parents when they had me.
Oh, is that right?
We're having a guitarist.
Yeah, right.
You've got a song, one of the songs is on this CD called Morning in Adanac,
Yeah,
which is Canada backwards.
that's right. I know, it's getting very clever with the backward thing. I use that a lot, just for some reason I like the idea of not having a direct message like that. And Morning in Adanac is actually the story of me when I moved to Canada, the story of me waking up every day, wondering why I'm here, or, you know, just everything was backwards, so that's why Adanac is backwards.
But how old were you when you were here? When you got
18 years
18.
old, yeah, just legally an adult, I guess.
Here? Yeah.
Yeah.
You could drink back then.
I could drink? No.
No, 18. No.
19,
No,
I
19.
think. But I was still drinking before that anyway.
Yeah. Well, see, you could. When I was 18, I could drink.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
the age limit used to be 18 at one point.
Well, it wasn't hard for me to get either way, so. I had three older
Well, because
brothers, right?
You're a dark guy. You get a lot of hair on
There
you.
you go, yeah. I never get
You
ID'd.
No, you could always pass for an older guy.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to say that without being. I know it's
This
time
is
for
clumsy.
traffic.
This is clumsy.
No. I'm just trying to say that you know you like you're not a fair-skinned, fair-haired young kid who looks like he's 17 when he's 25.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We're back with more, I hope. 146 right now, Newstalk 1010, first time saver traffic.